Let's try.
ಅದು ಇದನ್ನ ಬೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಾ ನೋಡಪ್ಪ ಅಣ್ಣ, ಇದೊಂದು ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಇದು ನನಗೆ
Anyway, you'll be singing in between.
This is okay.
ಬೇರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕೊಡ್ಲಾ? ಇದೆ ಆ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆದರೆ
They're lighter.
ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸರಿ ಕೂತಿಲ್ಲ.
You take this one.
If I have to include I need a light,
You're dancing, right? The other day. Okay.
yeah. This I can pin, is it?
You just sit. People here can hear you.
Yeah.
You should tell.
Even this is okay for me. I'm okay with holding
ಚೈತ್ರ
it.
ಹುಣ್ಣಿಮೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ಚೈತ್ರ ಹುಣ್ಣಿಮೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಚಿತ್ರ ಹುಣ್ಣಿಮೆ.
Yes.
And ಬುದ್ಧ ಹುಣ್ಣಿಮೆ also.
Yes.
Vaishakh, not Chitra. Last month was Chitra.
Okay, so it's like this. The Tamil calendar is 15 days later, right? So it's still Chaitra Paurnimi only.
For Tamilians.
So you can say that.
You are live only.
Yes.
Shubha Sanjay, a very happy evening to one and all present here and the online viewers. Mahabindu welcomes everyone to the Hunnime session edition. Today we have our honorable guest here with us, Jayshree Ganesan Akka. We heartfully welcome you, Akka, for today's evening. I would wish to give a brief introduction of Jayshree Akka. We are honored to welcome Jayshree Ganesan, a dynamic life coach, educator, and cultural ambassador whose journey spans across the length and breadth of India and beyond. Born in Trichy, schooled in Hyderabad, and now settled in Bangalore, Jayshree has worked in every Indian state and even represented India as a cultural ambassador to Japan. With postgraduate degrees in science, English, education, and social psychology, and as a Guru Puja Pandit and blesser from the Art of Living Foundation, she brings together deep Eastern wisdom and contemporary Western sciences in a unique and impactful way. Jayshree is the founder of IBM Academy, where she designs and delivers transformative training and counseling programs. Her work has empowered over 87,000 educators, 8,000 entrepreneurs, and 250 families through her innovative methods. A specialist in genetic brain profiling, she has helped thousands discover their life's true purpose. One of her signature programs, Roots to Roots, invites participants into India's sacred temple spaces to explore powerful life lessons hidden in mythology, architecture, and tradition. Her mission is the preservation and revitalization of India's rich cultural heritage, making it relevant and alive for today's generation. Jayshree's sessions are known for their scientific insight, interactive nature, and playful energy. Whether it's decoding ancient wisdom or connecting modern neuroscience to daily life, she surprises audiences with unheard of insights and unforgettable storytelling. Please join me in warmly welcoming Jayshree Ganesan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akka, for your time today and accepting to come today and grace the occasion. We are very delighted to have you, Akka.
Thank you. It's an absolute privilege to be here, especially amidst all your students, where you're doing a remarkable journey of preserving culture and heritage by teaching them to sing so beautifully and melodiously. And I think what a lovely start it was with Lalita Sahasranama. And I went so deep into meditation while you were chanting that. Okay, so I'm going to make it's a talk, no doubt, but then I'm going to try and make it as interactive as can be. So, are you all okay with English? I'm sure all of you are. So, I will be predominantly speaking in English, and then, of course, I'll try and digress into the other languages if and when necessary. Is that okay with all of us? All right. So, first, I would like you to quickly distribute these papers amongst yourselves. Just one sheet, and then there's a lovely shloka there at the beginning of the thing which says, Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Why do you think I began today's lecture, which is or a talk on titles, with this particular shloka? How many of you here have dwelt on the meaning of the shloka? Almost all of you were chanting, right? How many of you know the meaning of the shloka? One akka here, definitely. One of your little akkas here knows this meaning. And I think it is very, very important to understand what we are saying so that we say it with that bhava, right? So today, offering salutations to all those army men out there who are fighting for a beautiful cause, I think this shloka is very appropriate because this is what it says. It says, together may we to move, together may we to relish our studies, that is the teacher and the student. Together may we perform our studies with vigor. May what has been studied by us be filled with the brilliance of knowledge. May it not give rise to hostility. Right? So we are all studying so many things together, but there is this often tendency of ours to get into controversies. Also, we try and argue it out with each other, or we become hostile if the idea or the philosophy doesn't resonate with us. Right? Many a time we see that happening to ourselves. That does not mean we must not question. But it is very important to question whatever we are learning. So if you really look at our parampara, you will notice that almost all our ancient scriptures are in question answer mode. Okay? So the question to you now is, how many of you actually dare to question or ask questions when you are asked to do certain things or visit certain temples? Okay, so if you really dare to ask questions, put your thumb up. If you don't really dare much, okay, I ask a few questions now and then, do this. And if you don't ask questions at all, do this. Okay, all right. I like that. I like that. So almost everybody says, I'm somewhere in between. I ask a few questions sheepishly, not very open-heartedly, and I then sometimes don't ask questions at all. So one of you dared to say, I don't ask questions at all. But what happens when we don't ask questions, or when questions don't come to our mind? What do you think happens when no questions come to our mind?
Keep it and sit.
Very simple. Our brain shuts down. It doesn't open to receiving any knowledge at all. So it's very, very important to be curious and ask a lot of questions. Now, here is the first question for you. All right, you have a little sheet of paper which gave you the meaning, and right behind you have a little map. Okay, so some pencils here, you can quickly pass them on too. I want the temples that you have visited or you have heard of and you wish to visit. So I'll give you a few seconds. Have a look at the map. It reads Shankara Digvijaya Yatra, simply means Adi Shankaracharya walked the length and the breadth of the country and he visited all these places and he did some phenomenal work in each of these places. Have you heard of them? If yes, you can put a tick against the name. And if you want to go there soon, you can circle it and say, hey, I'm zeroing in on you. And put a double circle. Even as you're looking at those names and as you're circling, I would love to say here that temples are portals. They open up so much for us. They open up our tradition, they open up learning, they are deep healing centers, and they also infuse a lot of devotion in us. Okay, so there's a little thing that I've added at the bottom of the page. It says, if you really want to go somewhere, then today is the time when you have to make a very strong sankalpa that I want to visit this temple as soon as I can. So I'll give you a few seconds to make that sankalpa. Maybe your wish will turn true right now, right today, right here. Wow, I can see some really good sankalpa happening there. Alongside that, I would like you to answer yet another question. What are the things that come to your mind when you think of a temple? What do you see in a temple? I want you to write just one or two words. What do you see in a temple? What's the first thing that's coming to your mind?
Prasad.
I like that. So prasadam definitely for many of us. What's coming? What comes to your mind when you think of a temple?
God.
What have you
Prasadam.
seen?
First Prasadam, then
First idol,
idol.
idol of the god.
So one says idol. What have you written? What came to your mind when you thought of a temple? Prasadam, okay.
So cute.
Idol, okay. She thinks of the idol first, okay. Idol, the sculpture, okay. The sculpture. The Garbhagraha, okay. So there's a new term that's coming here. Garbhagraha. Come on, think a little deeper now. What are the other things that come to your mind when you think of a temple? A bell, of course, a bell. A gopuram, wonderful, a gopuram of a temple, yes. What? Dvajastambham, yes. I can actually choose beautiful stambhas right beside me, not one but two. All right, Dvajastambham. That is another thing that comes to your mind. What else? Energy. Wow, somebody is talking about energy. Now that you've written these one or two names, I would like you to add another question to it and say, why? Why do you have an idol? Why do you have the Dvajastambha? Why are they providing you with prasad? Why is there a Garbhagraha? Why is that? And why is the Garbhagriha so dark? Yeah, anything and everything that comes to your mind. Have you ever asked this question why? I, one of my young friends here, she's very candid. Huh? She said, "No, I never asked that question. Why?" All right. So this is exactly what you're going to do. In an hour's time, we will work on how important it is to question, because you just did one small shloka, and it said, and this is something that you find in Kathopanishad. And it is in one of the Upanishads, and it starts here. It says, let us as teacher and student not argue with each other, but question each other in order to enhance our knowledge. Let's go ahead and do that. So bell it is, Gopuram it is, all right. So I'm going to turn this into a few stories now for you. All right. Here is one small episode that happened with me. Shall I start with my story as a young girl who was just like you? I was asked to go to a temple. And this temple, I walked into, and then my mom and my teacher said I must carry my pencils, which I gave you now, and some books. And I need to go to this temple and I need to place it at the altar. And they promised me that if I do that, I'm going to get splendid marks. How many of you have done this? Yes, I like that. Quite a few, right? You do go keep your book and your pencils and your pens at the altar because you're expecting some miracle to happen, something. So, have you seen that people go into temples and use a black charcoal and write the numbers on the walls? Yes, right. Somebody has noticed this. And have you also noticed that they also mark their percentage and say 96%, 80%, 70%, trying to make, something work for them. But I, as a child, just did not like that. I said, something is wrong here. This is not the way to do things. I questioned my mother. I became rebellious. And I said, no way am I carrying my pencil and pen there. I would like to go and visit it because you're asking me to, but I don't think what we are doing is right. Any guesses what this temple is? Who do you think was the main deity in this temple? Ah, oh, give her a very good hand. I didn't even expect that as the first answer. It is Hayagriva. So this temple was a Hayagriva temple. How many of you know Hayagriva? Okay, at least 10% of the people out here seem to know Hayagriva. He is considered to be the god of knowledge, and he has the head of a horse, right? He has the head of a horse. So my question was this: why does the god of knowledge have the head of a horse? Why doesn't he have any other animal's head? Why should it be only the head of a horse? Now, what do you think happened when I started asking these kinds? Do you think I got answers so easily? Not really, okay? They were like, what a ridiculous question. It's there. You just accept it and move on. No, I wore my thinking cap then because I have a question in my head, you see. Whenever we have a question in our head, we begin to search, we begin to explore, we begin to start making connections. And that is exactly what happened to me. I said, okay, let me study a horse. What do you know about a horse? What do you know about a horse? It's fast, it runs. What else? What does it eat? It eats fresh grass. Very good. What does it constantly keep doing? Okay, how does it sleep? Have you ever watched a horse sleeping? It's wow, look, your party has really observed. No? She said the horse sleeps standing. It seems to be taking a nap right there standing. Even if it does lie down, it is lying down only for a very short span of time. All right. What else? Now, a horse keeps galloping, a horse keeps running in circle because it is its nature to run. Whether you whip it or whether you ask it to run, that doesn't matter. It keeps running. And it eats fresh food. But when it keeps running and suddenly stops, have you noticed it breathing? How does it breathe? Okay, I'll quickly give you a comparison because you have not watched it breathing. Have you seen a cheetah? Is that equally fast or even faster? Why does a cheetah run? Why does a cheetah run? In search of food. It runs only when it is hungry and only when it is in search of food. What happens after it gets its prey or stops running? How does it breathe? Huh? Arre wow, yes. Have you seen its tongue out and it's trying to cool itself off? Have you ever seen a horse doing that? Not at all. We've not seen a horse. And once it finishes consuming its food, how does a cheetah sleep? Where? On the branches with all its limbs hanging, absolutely no life, right? It's going to take some more time to digest. And I got my answer. I now recited the shloka. How many of you know the Hayagriva shloka? Lovely. So shall we do it together? Jnananandamayam devam nirmalam sfatikakritim adharam sarva vidyanam hayagrivam upasmahe. Two words stood out for me. One is nirmalam and the second is Spatika Akritim. And that's when all the dots connected in my head. And I said, no wonder the God of knowledge has the head of a horse. One, if you have to pursue knowledge, it has to be because it's your nature. You must not have a prey mindset. If you go chasing something, you'll go huffing and puffing. And once you get it, you will be lying in a limbo. But if it is your nature to learn, you will do it constantly with a lot of enthusiasm. And then, what is the kind of food that you must consume to keep your energy levels high? Fresh food, right? It has to be fresh food, and that's what it is eating. How must you breathe if you have to be very calm and composed in study? Then how must we breathe? We must breathe nice deep breaths through our nose, and that's what it does. How long can you sleep when you're pursuing your studies? Indefinitely? They have to be short power naps, especially the afternoons. They have to be only a short power nap. Now you see why Hayagriva is considered the god of knowledge and why our seers have been so clever to depict him with the head of a horse. What did we chant a little while ago to begin the day? Lalita? Who has composed that? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Who actually handed it over? Did you read that last line? What was that? Hayagriva Samvade. And then it's given to Agastya, right? So it is coming from Hayagriva. That is why I started here. Now interested? Is it now important to keep questioning? Are you guys ready to question and getting a little braver now so that you can question? Well, that was my first story. Now, I'm going to turn the story a little more, all right? So there was this beautiful time when I was walking around the hills of Tiruvannamalai, and a lot of people were accompanying me. We were all walking around, and we were studying a lot of things. And I used to carry a very cute little book with me, and it said spiritual stories, all right? Spiritual stories chosen by Ramana Maharshi and told by Ramana Maharshi. So I had this very quirky feeling in my head, okay? Everybody says Ramana Maharshi still lives in Tiruvannamalai, right? So I said, let me see whether this seer is walking with me. All right, let me test it out. If he is there, he should really make his presence felt. So what I started doing was Every now and then, at each Shivalinga, I used to randomly open this book and open a new story. And what do you think happened? Any guesses? What do you think happened? Random stories I used to open at each Shivalinga because there's so many Shivalingas around Tiruvannamalai. Surprise of surprise, the stories would be in complete sync with the linga. So here is a little story for you. So my friends are walking with me, and we went to one linga called Kubera Linga. All right? Have you heard the word Kubera before? The minute you think of Kubera, what do you think of? Money, money, kasu, pano, duddu, money, money. But that's not what Kubera is all about. Kubera is much more than that. He is somebody who gives loans. He is an investment consultant. He takes back a lot of returns. What is that? You have to pay back in interest, all right? That is what Kubera is. So when my friend reached Kubera, after having done all the lingas, he said, "Wow, we have reached my linga." Why did he say that? Because everybody wants money. I like her laughter there. Everybody wants money. And that is exactly what he said. I was like, oh my God, after all this, you're still saying this. Okay, let's see what the seer says. And I opened a random story. And this is what the story says. There were two lovely saints. One guy is called Appar, and another guy is called Sundara. And both of them were Shiva Bhaktas. They are among the 63 saints, who have sung the praise of Lord Shiva. They just have to call for Shiva, and Shiva would make an appearance. So they saw a famine ridden area. They saw that there is no water in the place and there is absolute starvation. So they decide to take up that place, build an ashram there, and do their prayers, and they wish to feed all the people there day in and day out. So every day they worship, they get a gold coin in the morning. So Appar asks all his disciples to go exchange the gold coin for some provisions, come back and cook for the people. But every time there is some blemish or something wrong with that gold. So it takes time. Instead of feeding at 12, they feed only by around 3 or 4. This is what happens. Alright? But in Sundar's tent, it is blemishless gold. All right, there is absolutely no blemish in the gold. It just gets exchanged like this, and they are able to buy all the provisions and bring back and make lunch for everybody. Appar gets to know about this. What do you think Appar will feel? I'm jealous. I like that. Appar is a saint. You see, he did not feel jealous. He questioned himself. He said, "What am I doing wrong? Why is it that the gold that I am getting has some problem in that?" This is what was the thought process. So he approached Shiva again and said, "Shiva, Shiva, how can you do this? How can you give me some gold coins that have some problem in it?" So Shiva said, "Appar, in your tent, everybody is talking about feeding the poor in their minds and with their words, but not really acting it out. But in Sundara's tent, Manasa, Vacha, Karmana. So they are also thinking about it, they are also talking about it, and they are also working on it. And so you see, the thing is blemishless. Lovely, big lesson. And what do you think happened to my friend? He is a grown up man, almost 40, and he wept. And you know what he said? He said, "I had made 5 plans, and for the past 5 years, I've only been talking about it. I've only been thinking about it, but I did not put it into action. I did not create a prototype." No wonder. This is the biggest lesson I learned. I'm going to go and work on it and then ensure that it actually happens. Now, till then, I was actually carrying this little book, and the book was helping me. All right. The next trip happened. I carried the same book, hoping that new stories will unfold. And all of a sudden, before we reached Kuberalinga, my friend who was traveling with me said, Jayshree, may I carry that book for you, please? You are working so much for us. I would like to do this little work for you. I said, sure. And I handed over the book to her. By the time we reached the next linga and I turned around for the book, there was no book. It had disappeared. My friend was upset. She said, was I not capable of carrying even this book? That is how she thought. But something else struck me. We went back. She said, I want to go back this route and find out. I've dropped it somewhere. I'll pick it up and bring it back to you. I gave her a good 20 minutes time to do that. She went back. She did not find the book. Neither did she realize that she had dropped it. She couldn't believe that she had dropped it. From that day onwards, I decided that when I travel to temples, along with the story of the seers, there is now going to be the story of the seeker. That is the people who are traveling. So I stopped carrying this book, but again I got it as a gift from somebody and it has come back. Maybe because young children are sitting here and they should listen to these stories, I brought them back to you. But now I only listen to my own stories. I listen to what's happening to my friends. I listen to the kind of questions that everybody is asking, the kind of observations that everybody is making, and that is turning the entire temple experience into something real. Don't you think that's what we should do? All right. So now, before I go to the next story, I have another activity for you. There are some clues at the back of this page, and there's a little crossword puzzle. I'm going to give you just a few seconds, to look at the clues. Try and answer them. Even if you answer one or two is okay. And as you go by, you might answer a few more. Is okay. And as you go by, you might answer. And even as you're looking at those questions, I'm going to ask you a few more questions which will perhaps be clues. And it will clue you into those temples. Even if you're not able to fill up the box, it's okay. But if you know the answer, write it right next to the question. You can always figure out the boxes later. I'm just giving you a few more seconds.
Numbers చూపిస్తుంది కదా కొంచెం వేస్తామా ఇది కొంచెం వేస్తాం 4 and
Fastest finger first. Got at least one answer? Oh, cool. Very good. Very good. You're not going to let out the answers, okay? You're going to keep it to yourself. I can see more smiles.
అక్కడే పెట్టే
Maybe it's not bad. I seem to know one or two of the answers.
చాలా
I'm just going to give you a teasing question now. Which temple has a stage statue of Ganapati on which the song
కామాఖ్య
Vatapi Ganapati has been composed?
టైం ఫస్ట్ కమ్ టైం
Which temple has the statue of the Ganapati on which Vatapi Ganapati Bhaje has been composed? How many of you here know the song?
Oh, I think I have to sing that.
Everybody, all of you are musicians, and that's precisely why I asked you the question. Can I just hear you? Yeah, just 2 lines. Exactly. So all of you know this song because this is the very first invocation song that you learn. Almost all of you learn this as the first kirtaning. Am I right? Who has composed this? Wonderful. I got the answer from there. It's Muthuswami Dikshidhar. And now tell me, where is this Vatapi Ganapati sitting? In which temple? Muthuswami Dikshidhar has a phenomenal habit. Okay, he in his songs will also let you know where he found the idol, where the idol came from, where it is seated presently. He does it all. If you've been observing very closely, and that is why I chose this little song. This is a beautiful place called Thiruvarur. Thiruvarur is a beautiful temple in Tamil Nadu, and it has some amazing things. Do you know what it has? It has the biggest cart, it has the biggest pond, it has the mother as a yogini, and it has the statue of, any guesses? Anybody who knows the name of the mother? Kamalambika. Kamalambika, and it is here that Muthuswami Dikshidhar composed the Navavarna Kritis. And this is what? And there are 108 Ganesha statues in this temple. And you know what they say? They say if you're born here in Thiruvarur, you attain moksha. Because the Shiva here is Mooladhara Murti, which means he simply starts, he builds in you a sense of belongingness, moves you out of inertia, and gets you into action. And that is why we sing this song too, because he is sitting right there, and this is the song that we sing for invocation. Now, this is just the history, right? If you open up your Google, you will find all this, right? Is it easy to remember all this? Not really. How do we really get to remember all this then? Do you think it is important to remember all this? Yeah? Why is it important to remember this? Do you think it is good to know or important to know that, wow, the song Vatapi Ganapati, Vatapi is sitting there in Thiruvarur. And Thiruvarur is this kind of a place. And there's something that amazing happened to Muthuswami Dikshidhar. He got aligned there and he started composing these incredibly beautiful songs. In fact, all the Trinity, Tyaga Brahma, Muthuswami Dikshidhar, and Shama Shastri are all born in Thiruvarur. And that is precisely why I chose the temple for you guys here, because you're all musicians and you sing all the compositions. So I walked into the temple one day and it was around 6 p.m., close to that, say I think 5:55. And there is a Sai Raksha Puja that happens. So evening, there's a lovely puja, that Narti that happens in the evening, and there's these amazing jasmine flowers that they use. So I wanted to go and witness that puja, but I'm running out of time. If I don't go on time, I will miss the puja. And the temple, you know why I mentioned all those facts about the temple, so many things, it's huge. If I use the wrong entry, if I go in the wrong way, it will take me a good 15 minutes to get back to this place. So I was standing there at the entrance, not knowing what to do, when a little girl like you, she just turned back and she said, I asked her, in the Pakampono, which side should I go if I have to reach the Sai Raksha Puja? And this little girl was special. She was a special child. I could make out she was a special child, and her parents were walking right before her. She said, come with me. And she held my hand. And she took me straight to a golden door, which was on the side of the Garbhagriha. And she said, wait. And I'll wait with you. And she started talking to me. I was like, okay, I want to go to the Sai Raksha Puja. It's starting at 6 and this child is not letting me go. But I just indulged the child and stood there. The next minute, the door opened and they led us all inside. So we were very close to the Linga and we were allowed to sit very close. And there was a young lad like you who sat beside me and he started singing loudly the glory of the divine along with the Abhisheka, and he was shedding tears. There was so much bhava in what he was doing. He was completely moved. So I said, oh my God, this guy definitely knows a lot more about this place. Otherwise, he wouldn't be moved so much by this place, I thought. So just as we stepped out, he explained to me a lot of details about the temple, and he
అదేం
said,
చేయదురా నీ పాట
go to
వస్తే
where
వెళ్ళు.
Kamalambika is seated. She is seated as a yogini.
అది
She's
దాని పాట
seated in a very unique pose. And right behind her, there is a stone. And that stone is formless. And it is called Akshara. And exactly at that moment, the mother of the child said, Akshara, can we move now? So I will never forget this story, will I? Because who led me there? It was Akshara herself. And formless. Why? Because I'm saying so many words. They're just coming out from my being, but I don't know what you are making out of it. The words are all formless, but they're definitely taking some form or the other within you. That was the biggest learning. This is where sound begins and sound emanates. No wonder Muthuswami Dikshidhar is able to compose such divine compositions in that place. It is known for the biggest cart which goes around, the temple. It takes thousands to actually even steer the cart around the place. A must visit place. But Akshara will never make me forget that place ever again, because this is the biggest lesson I learned from that day. Good? Shall we proceed to the next story? And as I'm saying these stories, you keep looking at the questions, because you might be getting clues for the answers as my stories go forward. Did you find out some answer?
Yes, yes.
What is the answer you found?
Was Vatapi.
Yeah, Vatapi, yes. Kamalambika, right. So you found that answer for the first and the second question. Yes. Yeah, Hayagriva. She has found the answer, Hayagriva also. All right. Shall we move to the next question? Next story. Are you liking the stories? Are you liking the stories because there's a lot of emotion in it?
లేరా
Is the emotion
Lay-
coming because it is my personal story?
Akshara made us goosebumps.
Yes, really. I'll never forget the child's face, and I'll never forget the lesson I learned on that day. So one of another big lessons why I translate temples into classrooms is to heighten your awareness, make you extremely observant, stay there in silence for a while, start listening to the people around, watch, look out for the animals, look out for the birds. They might be sending you some very important signals. And that is what keeps happening. And it is not just happening to me. People who travel with me and have traveled before me, once I start narrating the stories, they begin narrating theirs. But they say, I did see this, but I never made the connection. And today I'm able to make the connection. So now it was just speech, right? We just began with speech. We are now going to the next one. Wow, what was that around you? Is that a bumblebee or a little ah? So every time I see a flying insect around us, that is the presence of the Divine Mother. And it just happened right now, right there, right there, right there. Okay, so she is making her appearance, just heightening our awareness. Because Keshavji always calls me an animal whisperer. He says, animals talk to you. Yes, they do. It talks to all of us. It's just that we should tune into that frequency. Let's do a little more. So this was more recent. Now, again, a beautiful temple where the mother, I think one of your clues is that the mother here sits in Padmasana. Okay? And I was here very recently. I'm going to give you 2 or 3 clues. Let me see if you guess it. 1, from this place you got the Mukha Panchashati. And this is wonderful.
Kanchika.
I don't even have to give you the other clues. So it is Mother Kamakshi. And what is the place where she dwells?
కాంచీపురం
Kanchi Kamakoti Pitam. This is where the mother dwells. There's a beautiful story. One should always listen to the sthala puranas, because they will tell you something very deep, and they are coming from time immemorial. For thousands of years, these stories have survived. right? And then new stories of each person is created also. So Kanchi, Adi Shankaracharya came here, all right, and he came and sat outside the temple. And he said, I am not going to get into this temple. He told Amma, I don't want to see you as an idol. I want to see you as a living, breathing human in a living, breathing form. That is how I want to see you. And he began to meditate. He sat there for many days, meditating in total silence. No anna, no pani, no uta. He was there, doing his meditation. One day, a young girl again, just like you, a little girl like you, came up to him and she shook him up a bit. And she said, what do you think? Are you going to sit here like this lazy and you expect that the Divine Mother will come and see you like this? I think you have to run the streets of Kanchi to be able to spot her. And she ran. So Adi Shankaracharya began to chase the little girl and he went running behind her. She went into every street of Kanchi and then she came right into the temple, walked straight, ran straight into the Garbhagriha, and Adi Shankara followed her. And what did he see? He saw that the little girl was a little girl there, all alive, and turned into Rajarajeshwari, into the Divine Mother Kamakshi herself. And he could see her as a pulsing, throbbing mother. And they say this is where Mother Kamakshi gave him a glimpse of one of the most beautiful texts, Saundarya Lahari. This is where she said all the Siddhas already know this, are aware of this, but I'll give you a glimpse of this. And this is where he began to compose the Saundarya Lahari. Now, recently I was there. What did I go for? The same thing. I went to see the anointment of the young Acharya at Shankaracharya. So one young boy, almost your age maybe, around 19, 20, and he is anointed as the next Shankaracharya of Kanchi Kamakoti. And I really thought to myself, I might not get this opportunity again this Janma. I don't know how long I'm going to live. I must be there to watch this because it's so special. How can somebody simply let go of everything, the family, all the goodness of that, all the little things that we are not able to leave, and just take these saffron robes, the Kavi Vastra, and actually become the goddess mother herself. So they sacrifice everything and take the danda only for one important thing, that is to be in prayer for the upliftment of the entire society. So this was Akshaya Tritiya day, and I'd walked into the Kanchi Kamakoti temple, and there's a beautiful pond there. It's called Pancha Ganga. If you go there, they say always splash water from that particular Ganga, and it does a lot of good for you. So everybody is seated around that, and this anointment is happening. So first he let go of his hair, then he let go of his Janevu. Then he let go of his clothes even. And then he was given this Kavi clothes. And then he climbed on to a little podium and they put the curtains. Only the Guru is with the young lad. And he is going to give him Sannyasa Diksha. Just like in the Upanayanam, you give Brahma Upadesham. Same way, he is giving him an Upadesha, he is giving him Sannyasa Diksha. I'm sitting right there and my eyes went up towards the Gopuram, right? He said Gopuram, right? I just looked up the Gopuram and surprise of surprise, I spotted something amazing. Any guesses? What could I have spotted? Huh? I like that. You're very close, buddy. You're thinking now. I saw a beautiful. Okay, this bird is always seated. It's one of the clues there. Seated close to the ears of the mother. Right there, I see. You can see quickly she's filling up her form. Parrot it is. So we saw a huge parrot. It was not this small. All the other parrots around were only this small. It was this huge, and it came and sat on the gopura. I went into deep meditation when the anointment was happening because that was the kind of energy. Somebody said when they think of temple, they think of energy, right? That was the kind of energy, and they were all settling down to something amazing. And this parrot was seated there. And just as the anointment completed, and he announced that this boy will now be called Satya Chandra Shekharendra Saraswati, the parrot took to its wings and flew away. Don't you think we should hear an applause for this? I'll tell you why we should hear an applause for this. Why am I so moved on seeing a parrot? Why parrot? What does parrot bring to your mind? What is so special about plotting a parrot? He did say peacock, but I was even more moved because it was a parrot. Why? Now your question. You should ask such questions, you know. You have so many idols around. You have the mother with the parrot sitting here. Have you ever wondered why she is holding a parrot there? Okay. What's special about a parrot? What does a parrot do? Come on, what does a parrot do? A parrot. It can, the only bird that can speak exactly like you, correct? It can imitate. Not only that, it can even imitate the tone and the texture. In fact, it can get you into trouble with your guests, right? Because if you've been saying something nasty about the guest, just as the guest enters, he will call the guest something nasty. This is a clue. And one more thing about a parrot, till date, scientists have not been able to put a tracker on a parrot and find out where exactly it goes and how it breeds, etc. Because it has this uncanny ability to remove the tracker and throw it out. Another thing that a parrot is capable of doing, if it gets angry with itself, it can hurt itself.
Just like Shiva.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes, exactly. There you are. Correct. And this is, wow. Okay. So the mother keeps the parrot next to her only because she wants to hear what she is saying. We just completed Akshara. Our words, they just come tumbling out. Many a time we don't even hear what we are saying. But the minute it is out, it is bound to come back, rebound, right? So it's very important that we do not use self abusive language. We don't abuse ourselves. We don't call ourselves names. Don't call ourselves, I am da da da, I am da 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 da. No, it's supposed, it will come back. All right? And parrot also has this ability to hurt itself. Now he has revealed something else and something more. This little, there is a beautiful story where Shiva and Parvati are sitting in Kailash and Shiva is telling Parvati the secrets of life. And they are in isolation. They're there only in that. There's one little parrot which is seated up there and is listening to the entire conversation. The parrot is not supposed to be there. Shiva spots the parrot and chases the parrot and says, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here. You're too young for this knowledge." The parrot goes flying and enters Vedavyasa's wife's womb and sits there for a good many years, listening and listening and listening and learning. And when he comes out as a fully grown person. Who is this sage who was born to Vyasa? Yeah, Sukha Maharishi, right? Sukha Maharishi has the head of a parrot. If you really look at Shankaracharya's lineage, you will find Sukha Maharishi. So now you tell me why I got so excited when I saw the parrot. And not a small parrot, huh? Because after that, the very next day I go to Adi Kamakshi temple, I touch the bilva tree and a teeny weeny parrot does, and then it flies there just to show me the difference in the size. And then, and when I go into the Muruga temple, he is also dressed in parrot green on that day. All right, so clear indication. They say whenever saints and the mother make an appearance, they make an appearance in the form of a parrot. So every little thing you see, just before I said parrot, did you not see the insect going around? You watch out for more. You will see a lot of things happening, and that's what it is. So that was an amazing thing. So now, what did I tell you? Through my story, I've told you one story. Is it now very difficult to forget Sukabrahma? Correct? It is not easy to forget Sukabrahma. You will remember. And then you will go on to find out more and more. You know, Veda Vyasa was a little jealous of his own son. Because when his son walked around, everybody could be just themselves. There were a lot of women having a bath in a pond, and they didn't even bother that Sukabrahma was walking by. But when Vedavyasa walked by, they quickly covered their bodies. So Vedavyasa was surprised. He said, Sukabrahma is my son. You didn't cover yourself when Sukabrahma passed by. How come you covered yourself when I passed by? And you know what the lady said? For Sukabrahma, everybody is Mahavishnu. When he saw us, he saw Vishnu in us. But for you, Sukabrahma is your son, we are women, and so you were not able to see it. This actually led Vedavyasa to do more tapasya and become even more, understanding, etc. That is the power of Sukabrahma. Enjoyed the story? Shall we move? Ah, I like hearing claps now and then. Yeah, feels good. It is. Why do we clap? It is not only to appreciate the person, it is to first of all wake up and energize yourself. So every time you clap, all your nerve endings are coming together and it just gives you a newfound energy, and then you're able to move on to the next story. Could you fill up a few more blanks now? A few more from the quizzes getting answered. Wow. Okay. You know, today when you chanted the Lalita Sahasranama, you used such amazing words, towards the end. Every word was kind of giving me one new story. So here is another story. So I had gone to Nepal. All right, Nepal. What do you know about Nepal? What's the temple that comes to your mind when you listen to Nepal? Ah, Muktinath and Narayana, Narayana. What about the Om Namah Shivaya? Pashupatinath, right? Pashupatinath temple. Now, another very fascinating temple actually. It has 4 heads and a 5th head. And I was there on Mahashivratri on a particular day to get the blessings from Pashupatinath. I went into the Devis. I'm not even going to complete that because it's a very long story. I'm going to make it short. So there is one Devi there, and she's called Guhyeshwari. She's called Guhyeshwari. I had a fascinating experience that really brought me so close to Keshavji's teachings actually. So I went to this temple, and the first thing that I see is a lot of women are couples are getting married outside. And one girl was getting married to a tree. So they have some customs, some culture, and she was beautiful. So we started taking pictures, we were walking around the temple, posing with her, etc. By the time we went to the door of the temple, they put the curtains down. And they said, थोड़ी देर के बाद आना, 1 घंटे के बाद खुलेगा, अभी नहीं खुलेगा. And we had no time, we had to rush. It's a foreign country and we already have a big schedule written for us. So we ran out. But I promised my friends that I will bring you back here for sure tomorrow on the way to the airport before we leave to another place in Nepal. So we did the same thing. We had only 20 minutes to spare the next day and we went running. But my friend had injured her knee like I have injured it today. She wasn't able to walk fast. So she said, Jayshree, you don't stop for me, you go. So we went running, 2 of us. We went in, we were able to walk into the temple. And what did we see there? We saw a lot dhua, 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 dhua. What do I mean by dhua, dhua? What's dhua? Dhua matlab kya hai? Dhoop. So that means the puja had just completed and she was decked with flowers, so many clothes on her, and there was only the dhua, camphor and all the dhoop that was. So do you think I could see the deity clearly? I couldn't. So I came back and I said, don't worry, we will go again the next day. I said, promise, next day I will again come back and we'll do something about it. The third day we went there and we walked in and it was silent. The doors were open. I had time to go and buy lamps. When I walked in, they had cleaned up the temple completely. And it was so clear, it was totally bad. They call it Nirmalyam. There is nothing on the deity, and I'm able to see the golden orb. And we broke into beautiful music. We started singing Sri Chakra Raja because we felt we were able to see the absolute center of the Sri Chakra. We were able to see the Bindu. That was the feeling we had. And just as I stepped out, something miraculous happened. I didn't have enough space in my phone to capture videos. So I told my friends, give me a few minutes, let me delete a few videos because I need to free up space. And what is the video that opens up as the largest video? Keshavji's video opens up and he is giving a nice talk. And this talk is on the Sri Chakra. And in that particular video, he's explaining about how when you walk from outside to inside, you will have to keep killing and going in. And when you come from inside to outside, you will have to keep creating to come out. Some of the adults here who are learning a lot of other knowledge about the Sri Chakra, etc., will be able to catch it immediately. I saw that in the first day I was lost in the outside, right? And I did not get. The second day I was still only in the second concentric ring. I hadn't reached. On the third day, I reached the center. And this knowledge opened up exactly at that point of time to remind me as to what had actually happened. To say, if I have to, because I'm a very sensorial person, I observe too many things around me. I'm always filled with, colors and this one, etc. So it was a nice reminder for me to get deeper inside, and for that I have to kill the. So, in simple words, when we go to temples, it's very important to observe, it is very important to watch, it is very important to connect, but it is also equally important to then sit with your eyes closed and meditate. And that is why the Garbhagriha is so dark. All everywhere outside it's full of color, but when you go deep inside, it's just one small lamp and total darkness, which will just help you get deep within yourself. What a lovely way to learn the lesson, right? It is in the same place that I found a very cute little pendant. And this pendant is the Vajra Ayudha. The minute I saw that, and I said, what is this? They said, it's a Vajrayudha. I quickly picked it up. I still wear it. I wear it every single day of my life now because it's so special for me. I picked up this Vajrayudha, quickly wore it around my neck, and then I was flaunting it. So a story opened up. What do you think is the story that opened in my head when I saw Vajrayudha? Who holds the Vajrayudha? Indra. Who made the Vajrayudha? Wow. Dadichi Maharishi. And Dadichi Maharishi, how did he make the Vajrayudha?
His bones.
See how appropriately she came and sat down now to tell us the rest of the story. How many of you would have got the answer, Dadichi, now? No? You did? High five, man. Wonderful. He knew Dadichi. But she came in promptly to say, hello, I'm here, because that's a very special moment. Dadichi Maharishi created this, with his bones. There's a long story behind that, but I will continue. I picked up this Vajra and then I walked from Nepal. I went straight to Naimisharanya. Naimisharanya is a forest and it's said to be the safest haven for all the sages to meditate in. I am, yeah, even today in the Kalki Yuga, right? Mahavishnu is supposed to have dropped his chakra there, and then where the chakra stops, he says this will be the safest place, and it starts sinking into the earth. And that's when Ma Lalita is called. And Ma Lalita stops the chakra. Otherwise, it would have gone to Atala Patala. So it stops there and springs from there a jet of wonderful water from the Gomati river. So you have a fresh spring of water that comes there. It's called Chakra Tirtha. It's a Tirtha once again. So I went there and I'm walking into I'm just entering Naimisharanya when I open my Google and say, let me read a little about Naimisharanya before I go. Remember, I told you we should always know a little bit about the Sthala Purana. We should know a little bit. We should know something so that we at least look for it and look beyond it also. And who do you think makes an appearance? Any idea? Dadichi. Just then I'm wearing it's only one day back that I've worn the Vajrayuda around me, and I walk into Naimisharanya and I discover that Dadichi Maharishi did his yagya there. This was the place where he did his yagya, and this is exactly where he turns the bones into this one and gives the Ayudha to Indra. I'm startled. I say, why is Dadichi following me? Now what more should I learn? I go to Naimisharanya, I get into the Tirtha and I have a nice bath in the Tirtha and I come and sit under the peepal tree. Do you know what is fantastic about the place? Under the peepal tree, you have a lot of young people like you who sit and narrate stories. And they say, Ajao Ma, and they'll tell you all the stories with so much love, so much passion. They'll give you all the details. So they asked me, Ma, आप इतने अच्छे दिन पे कैसे यहाँ पर आ गए? तो मैंने कहा अच्छा दिन सभी तो अच्छा ही दिन है. Every day is good. What is so special about today? You know what he said? He said, आज ही के दिन ददीची महर्षि ने यज्ञ प्रारंभ किया. एंड आज ही के दिन यहाँ हर जगह में हवन होता है. आप उसी दिन पर यहाँ पर आ गई हो तो ज़रूर हर जगह जाना और यज्ञ में भाग लेना. So we got this golden opportunity to participate in the yajna. We also did the Lalita Sahasranama in the Lalita temple there. This I thought would be the end because, oh, great. And I come to Tiruvannamalai in just another 2 weeks' time because that's my favorite pastime, you see. So I go there to a particular place. It's a beautiful ashram called Yogi Ram Surat Kumar Ashram. And what opens up there? There's a Bhagavad Gita. It's a huge Bhagavad Gita book open. And I have this habit of always going and seeing what is there in it for me today. That's my curiosity. So I go there, and what do I see? I see a huge painting of what? Any guesses? The Vajrayuda. A huge painting of the Vajrayuda, and it gets revealed in the Bhagavad Gita. Mahavishnu is telling that among the Astras and Ayudas, I am the Vajra. And among the cows, he is Kamadenu. Among the sages, he is Narada. And among the snakes, he is Vasuki. Why? Because all of these have sacrificed themselves for the larger good. And anybody who sacrifices all their needs, etc., and work for the betterment of the entire society is considered to be. So there are many, many, many stories. If you're really interested, you should come and meet me sometime, or we should travel together. I'll take you because you should also have, this is a temple, okay? That's why I agreed to come and talk about this topic here. We'll do a little bit today. You know, after the session is over, let's go around and look at all the idols. Let us see what we know, what we can see. Let us see what are the questions that are coming to our mind. Because remember what the story in Kubera? Manasa, Vacha, Karmana. It cannot be just a talk. Though this is called a talk, it should translate into action. So the last bit today, the divine does not live in structures of the stone. He actually lives here. And this is what I got today. And as I was flicking through this book, there was a very beautiful little statement that I saw by Satya Sai. And I thought I must share it with you because today's message, Sai does not live in structures of stone or brick and mortar. He lives in soft hearts, warm with sympathy and fragrant with universal love. So every single temple that we go to is not just a stone structure. That is not where we are expected to stay. We are expected to be inspired by every structure, every little piece of art that has been created by somebody who was in that very ignited, very totally in alignment with the cosmic thing. They have created so much for us. We need to dwell upon it, only to wake up the softness in our. On that note, I will say goodbye for today. This will be the end of our talk on heaven.
No, are we on live? Or?
Yeah.
Akka, I have no words to express because we are all awestruck. And it's been such a wonderful session that we didn't realize that it's